Check how this one works before the game is up, but is it questions or what is it?
We'll open up to questions. You're good, Rich.
Questions.
Start with you, Coach. You guys have got 3 wins of 40 points or more so far this season, and obviously the upset over San Diego State. Where do you think you guys have been the best so far this year in your opinion?
I think we are the best. Like where I feel like our secret sauce is right now is 5-on-3. So that's kind of our deal right now. Where we're trying to build this group is that we think we can win 5-on-3, and that could be 5-on-3 on the offensive glass, 5-on-3 on the defensive glass, 5-on-3 sprinting and transition, 5-on-3, 1-on-5 guarding isolation, 5-on-3 with having 5 great communicators on the floor. We're counting on this kind of pack mentality that our 5 can beat another team's 3 in any given tiny little situation on the floor. And one of our superpowers is I think that we have 5 guys that'll really work hard to do the right thing every single time. Like we're really blessed that way to have a locker room of guys like that, and so we're counting on that happening.
Rich, I asked you kind of a similar question. Where do you guys think you have been the best so far?
No, I love that. Like, I don't know if I've ever played on a team that's been so like invested in each other's success. And yeah, it's early in the season, and there's gonna be different things that happen later in the season. Like it's a long season, but like I love how we are together, and like I have no other expectation but that stays together.
What caused that, Richie? What were some of the moments that really brought this team close?
I feel like last year was a hard year, big learning year, and I feel like one of that I would say that's attributed to that. But I also think our Italy trip helped with that. Like it was fun to see other people in different light, and just maybe off the court a little bit more, and yeah.
Mark, you talked about playing on offense with force and thrust and some of those other keywords. What are the keywords for defense to be able to kind of duplicate that intensity and tempo defensively?
Yeah, so one of the things that's been interesting, just to touch on, like back my way into that, is we saw in our first scrimmage, our exhibition scrimmage, that we kind of lost our talk. It was something we talked about after the game. It's like we've been so good for 6 weeks about really, really talking to each other as being one of the things that's really important for us. This team has more freedom to make decisions defensively on the court than maybe any team we've coached here. And it's because we trust the way these guys are talking. My staff has done an unbelievable job. The squad has done an incredible job about guiding us to where most of our practices now are players not only communicating live play, but afterwards doing a debrief with each other in a huddle. Like my assistant coaches now are in the habit of when you normally have a break in action, you all huddle together, they'll walk in silently and say, you guys talk. And we've had a great carryover onto the court. And it's different when you have fans out there. It's different when it's noisy out there. It's different when, one thing we experienced for just a few minutes in the Morgan State game was kind of dealing with a little bit of frustration on the court. And so then the talk went away. But if I could have anything from our team defensively, it would be this urgency and this constant communication to make decisions on the floor, like in real time, because they've been great at it, and it helps tie us together. And so that's if we can have 5 guys on the floor with urgency and communication at all times on the court, working things out in real time on their own, I think that's when we're at our best defensively.
Richie, how does that process? Have you followed the process from last year to this year? What's been that process for you to have that freedom to make decisions on the floor defensively?
Like at the top of my head, I'd say a little bit more experience. We were pretty young last year and still are young, but I feel like the coaching staff has really hit hard on the talk. Just like what Coach was saying, but like it's true. Like there was early times in the training camp of Coach being like, "I just need you guys to talk together. You guys solve it. Like you guys figure it out." And it's been cool to see like how that's not necessarily something that comes up anymore because we're just doing it. And I think from that comes maybe a little more trust as a group to where we can make more decisions on the fly.
What did I say to you yesterday in practice? You remember?
Just need to continue to have my communication match Like my energy
That's
on the
not
court
what
or
I
something.
said to you. So it's been really fun to watch Richie. And we had a great stoppage and play yesterday after we had 2 straight transition possessions where Richie was playing transition defense back to back, and both times he managed this. He's always had this incredible motor, like unbelievable motor. Yes, you guys, it's unbelievable motor. And now, like, his talk is starting to match it. So we had back-to-back possessions where he was not only flying around on the floor, but he was literally verbally and physically pushing teammates into the right spot. And it's super special, man. Like, when his talk matches his motor, like, we get good. And, you talk about experience. It's one thing to, tell the guys to talk, I need you to talk, but it's another thing for rookies to not know what words to say. And now I think Richie is more comfortable knowing what words to say and what he's trying to accomplish and how he's trying to
Instead of just
communicate.
nodding your head.
Yeah, just saying random things that can actually say good stuff. Yeah.
Coach, you talked about this being a thrust offense. Is that just about getting up and down in transition? Like, how do you kind of define that with this BYU program?
Well, so this year, I think we've talked about this a lot. Kind of, we're trying to live in the space of making teams guard us 27 by 50. And so, yes, we want to play in transition as much as we can, but there's been nights where we can't get any transition possessions because guys are just all 5 back. And I think we're much more prepared to manage that situation than we were last year. And so, but it is still this pace. It's manufacturing pace. Sometimes you can manufacture pace on the defensive end by forcing turnovers. Sometimes you can manufacture forcing misses and then getting out of transition. Sometimes you can really force it off of makes and being in transition. And sometimes you have to force pace, walking the ball up half court and then kind of exploding into motion and action once you cross half court. And so all of those things are kind of this thrust component. And I think also for us, we have this sense, like we have this player, Jackson Robinson, on this team who just drives me crazy. I mean, I just spend so much time. You want to comment on that?
What you got?
So one of the ways that I would actually start to slide thrust in there is us taking the first available good shot. And then, that we talked about this after the game, that kind of being a little bit of a beginning of our offense. And then really trying to cause mayhem on the offensive glass with real thrust, a wedge towards the rim. And so we're trying to just kind of keep pushing up the boards as a phrase of speech all game long and kind of every facet of it offensively.
Do you think this team's ready to carry that success over on the road now? Neutral site, but still away from the Marriott Center.
I think we are good, and I think we're figuring out who we are, and then we'll go see. We'll see what we can do on Thursday. I have a lot of faith in this group, and we still have a ton of growing to do. Like, we have so much more growth to do. We have so many more experiences to experience together and learn from. But I think we have, at this stage of the season, 4 games in, right? It's like, who knows, right? But I feel like we have a little bit of a sense of who we are and who we want to be. And I think that's really important, that we have a sense of who we'd like to grow into. So, I think we're really excited for every game. We get a chance to go prove that we're a good team. I think a lot of people think that we're not. I think a lot of people think that, we're something else, and I think every single time we step on the floor, I think our group as a group is really excited to go, hey, this is a chance for us to go prove to people that we're good.
Why do you like
2 more
these
questions.
events, like these we have back-to-back nights?
Yeah. I like it because you just have built-in good games, right? We're going to go play this Arizona State team, which is, one of the most talented teams probably that we'll face all season. I mean, man, you look at their personnel, and it's just this talent-laden group that's incredibly skilled, and we get to go play them, and then the next night we get to play, North Carolina, a really good North Carolina State team or a Vanderbilt team that just beat us last year or 2 years ago or something. And so it gives you a chance to see teams that maybe you can't get scheduling, games that are harder to put together scheduling. I like playing back-to-back nights. The guys love it because they don't have to practice. They're just going to play a game and then play another game. If Richie could have his way, we would play 365 games a year. And I love it just because we get to be in a neutral court and just go duke it out, and kind of for all of us, for every team. Yeah. it's a measuring stick for us, and certainly it will be for us.
You ever cross paths
Last question.
with Bobby Hurley in your basketball, because you guys played story programs, you ever
Yeah.
cross paths?
Yeah, so Bobby's just a little bit older than me, but we've actually crossed paths more on the coaching side than we did as the playing side. He was finishing just as I was getting started, and obviously I was a huge fan of his and what he and his family have done. In fact, I was actually at Nike camp. This is before you guys were born, but they used to just have one camp every summer. It was the Nike Elite Camp at Princeton, and so I was in Danny's small group. So I got to know Danny a little bit earlier than I knew Bobby. But what an incredible family, and what a gift they've been to basketball.
I guess we got time for one more. We got one more.
Yeah, this year the NCAA is allowing players to choose jersey 0 to 99. There's no restrictions. Is there? I know it's a dumb question. Do you guys have any discussion about that? You want to stay traditional? The players think, "Oh, cool, I can
Yeah.
be 93 or whatever."
Yeah, Noah now is the permanent contrarian. It's just like, I want 100. I want to be 100. 2 digits is not enough. No, so we order our jerseys a year in advance, and so we'll be able to roll those over next year. And so there has been a lot of discussion. Have you had any discussion about that? About you keeping the same number?
I'm going with 15.
Going with
I
15.
think 98's cool.
I'm allowed to talk about Isaac Davis, but he was in for the game Saturday, and all he could think about was like, should I be 77 or 99? Or, it's just a whole new world.
I've just noticed on some rosters there's a few, not very many though. So I figured it was because
Yeah.
or getting jerseys to do that because they don't come.
I don't think I do the math exactly right, but there's some odd 40 or 50 new numbers that have never been worn at BYU, and I think that's actually kind of fun. Like, that's actually pretty special. Be like the first and only current person to ever wear the number. I think that's super fun. I'm trying to let them get coaches get numbers, but so far it's.
They ditch the suit for that?
Yeah, well, no, I love the suit in the
Like
Marriott Center,
baseball managers
man.
just wear the uniform.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I'm not sure I would fill out the uniform as quite as well as Richie does.
Come on now.
Yeah, appreciate you guys.
Thanks.
Thanks, guys.
Did you watch that last night?
I heard. I didn't watch it, but
That flag kid from Ball.
I heard it was a kind of a brutal meeting.
Yeah, I've seen that dude's highlights, man.
He's
What do you like?